welcome back to the LTL podcast. It is August 6, 2023, and we are at episode 49. A little bit back. Sometimes I plan streams and I move them around a little bit, but this is episode 49. I want to welcome everybody back into the live show and the live chat. If you're watching this right now live, you will see the live chat. You can chat in there, but if you're watching this on replay, you can just go down there in the comment section and comment hashtag replay. I also want to take a moment too that I have started a second channel. And this is a little programming news here. I've started a second channel where I will be downloading all my live episodes and re-uploading them on my replay channel. If you go to the link at the top, I have posted it. And the second channel is called LTL Podcast Rewinds. I'd appreciate everybody, if they're watching this stream live or just after a post, to go over and subscribe to LTL Podcast Rewinds. I'm not going to upload rewinds on this channel anymore. I want it to be strictly just a live streaming channel. I may cut down some of my live streams into like 8 or 9 minute clips and upload them on this channel. But I'm trying to put some really major work into that second channel, get it up and running, get some content loaded on there. So after I start doing all my live shows, I'll be reposting them over there for replays. Okay, so tonight's show, we're going to talk about Lori Vallow and when she spoke during her sentencing. I have a couple of videos that I want to get into. First, I have an article from People Magazine to kind of recap what happened in court that day. And then what I'd like to do is go to her the interrogation video when after her ex-husband's killing. And you're going to get that first feeling of Lori, the manipulation, the lies. I'd like to play through that and then obviously end the show with her sentencing. So let's do this. Let's bring up that article from People Magazine and I'll read through it here. So 5 shocking moments from the Lori Vallow Daybell's bizarre rant in court before getting the life sentence. Lori Vallow Daybell was convicted of killing her 2 children and conspiring to murder her husband's first wife. And this is from People Magazine. It says, on Monday, Lori Vallow Daybell was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for murdering her 2 children, 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan, in conspiring to murder her 5th husband, Chad Daybell's first wife, Tammy Daybell, 49 years old. The 50-year-old cult mom was convicted in Idaho May in a plot that stemmed from a bizarre doomsday prophecies she and Chad believed, which held that Lori's children were zombies and Lori was a goddess. Prior to her sentence, Judge Stephen Boyce said a mental health evaluation showed that Lori suffered from religiosity and unspecified personality disorder with histrionic and narcissistic features. I've never heard of that diagnosis before. It's pretty crazy. Boyce gave Lori the opportunity to make a statement in court. In an outlandish rant, Lori claimed that she spoke to her dead children and Tammy and had a near-death experience which allowed her to communicate with Jesus Christ and angels. All right. Here are the 5 shocking moments from Lori's statement. She claimed her children weren't murdered. Dressed in orange, stripped prison jumpsuit, Lori started off her strange statement by quoting a Bible verse from the New Testament and then denying that her children and Tammy had actually been murdered. I'm not going to go into this because I just want to touch on the points here really quick with the article, but we're going to get into the video and watch that. The other point was she claimed she died for a few minutes during childbirth and then visited heaven. Lori told the court she had a different perspective in life after she had a near-death experience in 2002 while giving birth to Tylee. Wow, that's really That's really crazy. She claimed she's homesick for heaven. After a near-death experience, Lori told the court that she has the power to communicate with dead relatives as well as Jesus Christ and angels. And then another claim that she claimed she wanted to stay in heaven, but Jesus had a mission for her on earth. Lori carried on by saying she wanted to stay in heaven, but Jesus Christ asked her to complete her mission on earth first. She claimed the victims visited her from the grave, and her son said, "You didn't do anything wrong." In one more chilling moment, Lori declared that her children had visited her from the grave and told her that they were happy and didn't blame her for the deaths. So again, I wanted to just touch on some points here with this People magazine article. We're going to hear all of those claims in the court sentencing. But first, what I want to do is pull up the interrogation just after her ex-husband's killing. So we'll watch a little bit of this, and then we'll go on to that court sentencing video.
Yeah. And then I'll type your so just make it easier so you don't have to.
Sweet.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you.
I'll be out next. That's what you want.
Yeah, Malcolm's using the other one,
Okay.
so you'll be, Brendan's gonna monitor for him.
Okay, so just run out this way.
Okay.
If there's anything, but you know.
Perfect.
That's right.
Okay.
Speed this up so Lori gets in the room.
Okay, well, I think with high school, it's like, it's pumping.
But when she was in elementary and junior high, all the teachers worked with her. They were nice about it. But by high school, there's so many kids that just don't care. And I was like, just take it. You're so smart. Let's just take it and see if you pass it. She passed it.
And got a really good score.
Yeah, she passed it with like college ready in every category the first time.
Well, and now she can do what she wants, so
Exactly.
she's better off that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know Lori's your first name, right?
L-O-R-I.
L-A-U-R. Okay. And then what's your last name?
Vallow. V-A-L-L-O-W.
And your date of birth? And your phone number? And you live at the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, I know this sounds silly, but it's probably the easiest way to start, is just to tell me what happened. And then, so you can start what makes the most sense to you, and we'll just work our way through it. I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions just to kind of clarify.
Sure.
So I know you talked to the initial patrol officer.
And he just got information. He
Oh,
didn't say
okay.
anything.
So yeah, if you can just kind of tell me kind of what happened. It sounds like some of this may have started last night or something along those lines.
Right.
So start where you think it makes the most sense.
Okay, so,
I told you, it's a crazy question.
Well, so we moved into this house 3 weeks ago because he offered to get me a house here where all my family is. We
Okay.
were in Houston. And so he's like, we had decided to separate or whatever. So he's like, well, I'll pay for a house for you and for JJ and whatever, because he's all about JJ. He's never about Tylee, but he's all about JJ. Because we adopted him together. He's
Okay.
his great nephew. We adopted him as a
Okay.
baby. And so we adopted him as a baby, and so we've been raising him together. And he travels all the time for business, so he's used to just going back and forth. So he's always gone like Monday through Friday. So he came when we first moved in and brought me stuff from Houston, like a U-Haul. And then he hasn't been back. But it's all these threats on my phone all the time, you know, like whatever, all these things. And then he told me,
What kind of threats?
just, you'd have to read them to see, but he's always mad at me, right?
Okay.
And he doesn't want a divorce, but I don't like him and don't want to deal with him, so that's just how it is. Like,
Yeah.
So we married for 14 years, we dealt with it for 14 years, of him being horrible to her. Like, he gets in huge fights with her, a lot of things. But anyway, so he said, I'm coming Wednesday night. All of a sudden, I want to see JJ. I told him, I said, I will never keep JJ from you. You can come see whatever you want to. come take him to school, whatever. Like, I'm not going to do that.
So when you initially moved, he had said he was going to buy you a house. So you moved here with your
Yeah, he was going to rent us a house.
And so you moved.
All my family lives here. So
Right.
we lived here for a long time.
Okay.
And then he moved us to Houston.
Okay.
And we were there with my son. He was out of school. He didn't have any of his like services, his DDD, his anything. He like ripped him out of school and said, we're moving.
Okay.
And I didn't go with him at first. And he took him. And I let him take him. And I didn't file anything or whatever. And then he filed something against me and said, I'm only going to get supervised visits because I'm crazy and blah, 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 you know, the story. And so I just didn't talk to him for like 30 days and let him take care of him and let him see what I've been doing for the past 7 years, because men need to do that. You know, I have 5 kids, I have grown kids, I have grandkids.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're going to threaten me that you're not going to let me see my child without supervised visitation? Okay, do it for 30 days and see how long it lasts. You were begging me to come pick him up.
Yeah.
Which he did. It's just like, come back and whatever. So I moved in with them to Houston for the family, you know, and Tyler went with me. We drove to Houston from here and left all our family and all his support, all my son's support, like his cousins, everything. And we were there. I enrolled him in school there. I tried to start all his services, and it takes forever.
Yeah.
You know, it takes so long to get that done.
There's no easy transferring.
There's no easy transfer.
You start from the beginning.
It's a totally new thing.
Yeah.
And he didn't do any of it in those 30 days. So he just had gone without services, without even applying. And I'm like, do you even realize? Because he didn't ever do it in the first place. I did it. Long story. I'll keep it short. He hasn't been here in a couple weeks since we moved in.
Okay.
He came. He was very nasty when he was there, but he travels for business. So he went back to the Houston house, and he's like, I'm coming on Wednesday night, and I'm going to come pick up JJ and take him to school Thursday, pick him up Thursday, take him Friday, whatever. And I said, Casey wanted to come to the house. And I said, you can't come stay at this house because you can't get along with Tylee. She's a minor, and she has to live here.
Yeah.
So because he gets in huge fights up there.
Okay.
And she hates him. And so I'm like, you can't stay at the house, so I will book you a hotel, because he stays in hotels all the time because he travels for business, and the business pays for it, right? So I said, I will book you a hotel nearby.
What does he do?
He works with teachers and their retirement plans, but he goes to them. He mostly works in California.
Okay.
No matter where we live. And we lived in Hawaii. He'd work in California. He'd work in Texas. He has like books.
Dr. Bob, I'm gonna have an update on Anthony here pretty soon. It's getting pretty brutal over the last couple of days. If you watch the Anthony Farah stream, I'm gonna have some updates soon. So I got a show planned on Wednesday for that. You're gonna like that update.
Of business in different areas, and so he just goes wherever. It kind of just gives him freedom that he doesn't have to stay home every day and take care of special needs. Yeah, it's like an excuse, right? So I've done that myself for the past 7 years anyway. And I was a single mom before I married him with my 2 kids. Yeah, and he had 2 kids. We got married, tried to make a family. Yeah, how it goes. Anyway. So he said he was coming last night. I said, well, you can't stay at this house because you can't get along with Tylee. I'll get you a hotel and you can come stay with JJ. But he goes to school all day. Yeah. I got him back into his school. His services, I met with the DDD yesterday, and they finally are getting his services back. But we're paying $125 a day to have him back in school because he's so out of his routine.
He's in a lot of trouble.
Nightmare on the floor, kicking stuff, hitting stuff, walls. Like, he just ripped him out of his life. Yeah. So, anyway, just how he is, because he only thinks about himself. So. He says, come and get JJ. And JJ's like, I don't want Dad, because he knows Dad took him away. So he was freaking out, right? So I didn't tell him he was even coming. Like, Dad's going to come take you to school or anything. So he didn't bother me last night, which I was surprised. I was expecting kind of an ambush for him to kind of like come over or be just mean. And say, it's my house. I'm on the lease. I'm going to stay here kind of thing. Because that's kind of his macho attitude. And so he came this morning. I was getting JJ ready.
So he got in last night, but he wasn't at the house last night.
Yeah, I didn't hear from him. Except for he texted me and said, I'll be there at 7:30 to pick up JJ. Okay. And I was like, okay, that was good, because I didn't hear from him. And then he came over in the morning, and he's like banging on the door. I'm like, oh great, here we go, you know. And I was just gonna be nice. I'm just gonna be nice as possible. And I had JJ stuff all ready for school. And so,
do you remember about what time he got there?
He said he'd be there 7:30, but it was more like 7:40ish or 7:35. I don't know.
Okay.
But I remember looking at the clock, and he wasn't there at 7:30, and he's usually Mr.
Punctual.
Yes. So I was like, okay. And then JJ was like, oh. Dad. And then he was like, Mommy, and like ran to me and was like holding me. He's like, you're not taking me to school. And I was like, it's okay, Dad, I can just drive you to school. It's not a big deal. You know, just trying to make it whatever. Yeah, calm. And then he was just being real smirky and real like jerky, you know, to me. And I was like ignoring him, whatever. And so he was like, I'm leaving.
Your brother lives there with you?
No,
Okay.
he had stayed with me last night because I was worried he was going to come over and cause trouble with me.
Okay.
And just wanted someone else there, like my brother there, because I trust my brother. And it's been a long story. Like, I had to go live at my brother's when he took JJ, and, you know, he's just been difficult. So, anyway. So I got JJ stuff ready, and he was like, well, and he's like this about timing. He's like, I'm leaving in 20 minutes because it's like 15 minutes to school and like you can't get there early. They don't open the gates until 8:20 or something like that. And I said, well, why don't you just go now? I don't want him in the house. I'm like, why don't you just go now and take him to Burger King because that's what he likes for breakfast. And he's very particular about food. Like, he wanted chicken fries for breakfast and the Sprite. Like, and I just get what he wants because if you don't get what he wants, then it's like on the floor screaming, dragging him into school. Like, and he's big and he's heavy and it's hard for me to handle. But anyway, so I said, just go. And so he said, okay. So I gave him a backpack. He got in the car. This is his MO, right? He always leaves something in the house and comes back. He never leaves the first time. I always expect my husband to come back into the house, right? So I guess he had left his phone on the counter.
So he initially left with the backpack and with JJ?
And so he put them in the car,
Okay.
in the driveway, and then he came back in, right? So I kissed JJ goodbye. He came back in, and his phone was on the counter, and I had his phone. And he was like, give me my phone. And I was like, why don't you show me your text that you've been texting, blah, 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 you know, whatever. Because he's like acting really weird, like he's plotting something against me. Like, I'm like, why are you even here? Like, what did you come here for? You know, he's been talking to my other brother, and my brother came into town at the same time last night. And I haven't talked to my brother in a while, my other brother. And I was like, and so he was texting him on the phone when he first got to my house. And I'm like, why are you texting Adam? Like, do you even talk to him? Like, my other brother. And, you know, he's been telling me all these texts, like, you're going down, blah, 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 blah. He's blaming me for our marriage breaking up and my niece getting divorced and my friend getting divorced. He said, I'm a destroyer of families because I want everybody to get divorced. I'm like, what would my motivation be for people getting divorced? So I could babysit the kids more? Like, why would I have any control over what people do?
Yeah.
So it's just very odd. But anyway, he goes nuts. He's gone nuts on us a lot of times. Tyler and I have had to leave with JJ over the years probably 5 times and just stay in a hotel for 2 days because he goes nuts. Like, you don't know what's going to set him off. Like, whatever. And she's mad at me for always, like, going back. But we had JJ and he's special needs and it's really hard. Like, it's even harder to get by yourself.
So when you say he goes nuts, that can mean a lot of different things.
Right.
So goes nuts like yelling and screaming.
Yeah,
goes
yelling and
nuts
screaming.
Like breaking
like,
things.
yes.
Goes nuts like physical violence.
He's never really, besides like grabbing us and pushing us, but not like punching us or something. But with Tylee, he has gotten physical
Okay.
before. And with my grown son.
Like physical how?
Like got into a physical fist fight with my son when he was 16.
Okay.
And he came after Tylee 2 times in Hawaii.
Okay.
And like went like he was gonna hit her, but then I got in between them. Right.
How old was she when that happened?
Probably 13 and 14.
Okay. So this morning he comes back in and
He comes back in, I wouldn't give him his phone. He was screaming at me to give him his phone. He was very worried about whatever was on his text that he did not want me to see. And so I was just holding it there and he was screaming at me. And I was kind of walking towards around the house with it so he couldn't get it. He's like reaching for it and stuff like that. And so Tylee came out of her room upset and she had a bat. And she told him to leave her mother alone, like, right? So she was really, whatever. And he's screaming at her, don't you hit me with that bat, blah, 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 blah. And then my brother heard all the commotion because he was in there in bed. And so he came out into the main room and I guess whatever.
What's your brother's name?
Alex.
Alex, okay.
And then he just started, he was screaming and he was super upset and whatever, and he's yelling at Tylee, don't you set me with that bat, and blah, blah, blah. And so Tylee, I guess, I don't know if she swung at him or what, but he like grabbed the bat from Tylee and then went to like hit Tylee with the bat. It was, and I was right there, they were right there, and my brother grabbed him from behind, like just to stop him from hitting Tylee.
You go like this, like he grabbed him like.
Yeah, from behind, like just kind of to pull him back. And then they got into the thing, and he's hitting him with the bat, and they're on the ground, like grappling around or whatever. And then, I mean, it was all
And he
quickly.
And he hit your brother with the bat while they were grappling and stuff.
Yeah, yes, he was hitting him with the bat, like swinging the bat, you know, back and forth, and they were kind of like on the ground, and I was like freaking out trying to go around, knowing JJ was in the car,
Yeah.
right? And so then he got up and he had the bat like this towards me, and I was going around the other side to try to just get out of his range where he couldn't hit me. And then I had told Tylee, because she was on the ground, because after he took the bat from her, she fell back. And so I told her, I was like, go get in the car with JJ. Like, I don't want JJ coming in to the house, and I wanted her out of the way. I wanted the kids out of the way, whatever this fight was going to be. And then,
Do you remember what your husband or your brother were saying or yelling during all of this? If they were at all?
just kind of get off me, out, or whatever, you know, whatever. They were like, don't talk to my niece about it, whatever. Like, it was, I don't remember specifics, but they were kind of both. They were kind of in the heat of it. I don't think there was many words that I remember.
So Tylee goes outside.
Yeah, she was outside,
And then what happened?
then they got up from that, and my brother had like stepped back, I guess, and then Charles was coming with me at the bat and yelling at me to give him his phone still, because I had it in my hand. It was all really quickly. And then when I went around kind of in the circle, then my brother was there.
When you said when you were going around and he was coming at you with the bat, how was he holding the bat?
Just like that, like backwards. In one arm.
Like he was swinging it backwards? He would have done like
he would have swung it backwards at me, not frontwards.
Okay, yeah.
He was a professional baseball player.
Okay.
So it wasn't a good idea for Charlie to get out of that.
Probably not the.
I mean, he played semi-pro when he was young.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then I was kind of turned around, and we were all right there in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot. And
So you heard the shot? Did you actually see the shot, or did you just hear it?
I had gone around to the kitchen to get away from him, and so back around. So I don't know if he went in the house.
I didn't, so I'm like a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, so I didn't see the shot. I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground.
Okay.
And was freaking out.
Yeah.
And so I was just freaking out, and it just went into mom mode. I'm like, I've got to go to get JJ to school. I've got to get to the kids. I just felt like I got to get to the kids. And so I just went outside and to see if they were in there. Okay, I didn't want them coming back in the house when all that was going on. And got JJ in the car, and he was trying to come in. And Tylee was like looking at me with like the crazy eyes, like what just happened. And I told her to get in the car and we're going to take JJ to school. And I just left.
When you came back in and you saw him on the ground, where was your brother? Did you see him where he was at?
Yeah, he was right in front of him.
Okay.
Like it all happened very quickly. I feel like I was there because I was right there, and like a second later. Like I just went around the kitchen to get away from him.
Did your brother say anything to you at all? Do you remember?
No, we were both just in shock.
Okay.
Like it was just I didn't say anything. I went out with the kids just to check on them first, and I was going to come back in maybe, but I didn't. I was like, I just have to get him to school
Okay.
and call the police and come back, whatever.
Did anybody say did you or your brother say anything at some point about calling the police or calling 911? Do you remember?
Yeah, he called me and
Okay.
he said, "Are you taking GJ to school?"
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Yeah, we need to call the police." And he said, "Okay."
Okay. So he called you when you didn't come back inside, basically?
Right.
Okay.
Because I was like in the car for a minute, and then I was like, "What do I do?"
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't want JJ to go inside, and I
Okay.
didn't know what to do. And Tyler was freaking out. I was trying to get them away from the scene.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? And you may not know this,
Mm-hmm.
so because I know you heard the shot. Do you know at what point your brother had the gun? Do you know if he had it when they got in their first fight, or did he have to go?
All right, I now I'm unmuted. I had double mute on. So Terry brought up a good point. She said, you need to do what's best for you. So I'm sitting here, it's Sunday night. I would figure there'd probably be a lot of people home. And I'm even gonna probably bring Tanya into this as well. I know she's got an Idaho stream going tonight. She's got probably 200 people in there, 300 people. The thing that I don't understand, and I mean, I might have to branch out and just not do true crime anymore. I mean, I don't know what to do because this is not working. Because it's like when we cover other cases, no one is interested. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying it's weird. There's 8,300 people subscribed on this channel. Anytime we cover another case besides Idaho, we can't pull over 25 people in a stream. If it's something that doesn't say Idaho in the title, we get 25 people. And I want to make sure that we're making it worth the audience. So if, and the thing is like, you can't solely just base a channel off Idaho. I can't do that. The channel will never survive. So I don't know if I just stop live streaming for a while and do short form content to bring in more people. And that's why I've thought about cutting down on my streaming. It's not, I don't think there's anticipation anymore that I've been streaming way too much. So maybe people are just like, I'll just take this one off. And when the Idaho one comes around, I'll jump on and watch that. And I'm not downing any subscribers. These are just the thoughts that go through my head. I'm just trying to think it into a channel perspective and a business perspective. Am I just streaming too much? These streams, maybe they just don't mean that much. There's no anticipation. So should I take a couple of days off in between? But in between those couple of days, I could work on short form content and or maybe cut down, some of the previous live streams into shorter 8-minute clips. Because the thing that I try to make everybody realize is, and I know I get a lot of shit for this. They go, well, you always re-upload your episodes. Well, the reason I do that is two things. One, if the subscriber has missed it and they're not getting the notification, they'll be able to watch that live stream. And two, a lot of people don't realize, they think when you just re-upload it, it's only going to your subscriber base. That's untrue. When I reload an update, it pushes it further out and brings in new audiences. So that's how you get new subscribers. So maybe there's just not the anticipation of a live stream. I noticed like Friday, Saturdays are really good for live streaming, which is strange because you would think a lot of people would be out. But 9 o'clock, Friday, Saturday nights are great. We throw an Idaho stream on those nights, people are going to come over. But I don't, that's the thing that has been, I guess, maybe, I'll be honest, like bothering me, because you're getting the same, is it the subject matter? If it's the subject matter, then you all have to give me feedback. If this is stuff that you're not interested in, then I just won't do it. I need feedback from all of you. What do you want to see covered? Does Long Island serial killer enthuse you? I mean, to me, I think it's one of the most fascinating cases right now. I think it's actually more fascinating than Idaho right now. That dude, Rex Heuermann, is going to probably go down as being one of the most prolific serial killers of all time. And we're missing out on following this, because that's the thing I don't understand. Are you coming here for the story, or are you coming here for the creator? And I think that's where I've been kind of trying to figure this out. I can't ruse 8,000 people on this channel, and I understand it, that when you do live streams, I mean, I've even seen channels that have 100,000 subscribers. They do a live stream and they might pull 2% of that audience. Live streaming is just not for everybody. My shows are pretty relative. If I have about 8,000 subscribers and I have a live stream, I'm probably going to pull 200 or 300 people in. I mean, that's pretty relative to live streaming. I think some of it is that YouTube doesn't push a lot of the live streams because they're trying to push that damn shorts content. And I think a lot of it is that because over the years with social media, and the way that it's been designed and the way that it's been put out, and the most damning thing that's been put out there is fucking TikTok. I'm going to say it flat out. I hate that app. I don't use that app. It has shortened our attention spans to 8-second clips, 30-second clips. So, and I even see it on short form content too. You do an 8-minute video, people are only going to watch 4 minutes of it. I literally did a 2.5-minute video the other day. I can only get someone to sit through it for a minute. So it's, if you do a live stream on the replay, I probably get 20 minutes out of it, an hour and a half live stream. So it's just, I'm just trying to figure out, it's just creator stuff that goes through my head. Like, what am I missing here? What is the audience not liking? And then I'm probably going to go back and look at some of my most successful streams and start watching those again and go, what was successful in this? Was it the subject matter or was it the presentation? And that's like the other night I did the Idaho thing when I went back and did a presentation again. I haven't done one of those in forever. And I pulled in a lot of people, but I think it's subject matter. I think it was the presentation, obviously audience participation as well too. So, yeah, I mean, when they go to trial, it brings tons more views, but what do I do in between? Do I just let my channels be stagnant here and not do any content for 8 months, a year? It's almost impossible. Let's see. Just a Girl says, for me, I don't have time to invest myself in a bunch of cases. I'm following Idaho, but if I have the time, I come for you, whatever you're talking about. Oh, I appreciate that. Let me see. Lisk is definitely a good topic. Okay. I was just basically doing this tonight as some review. Well, people are busy and taking vacations and getting ready for back to school. Try lives a few times a week in short form content for through the week. It's what I thought of doing. I literally have thought about doing that. I literally thought just about going and just doing Friday and Saturday night streaming. I don't know, and working on other stuff, during the week, because I'm trying to expand this channel, but I'm trying to figure out what is working the best on it. And I can't right now. I just can't. It's like a mishmash. There's not enough feedback. When I drop videos, I'm not getting enough playback on those videos. So that means that my subscriber base is not even coming in watching that stuff. So I'm just afraid this is going to turn into a dead channel. And I don't want that to happen because I worked so hard on this channel. But I'm just trying to find the formula that's working best with you, because you guys make this channel go. If you don't come to the channel, you don't watch the content, the channel dies. And I'm in fear that that's going to happen. I'm in really fear that that's going to happen. So I'm trying to figure out, do I just not live stream for like a month and just work on short form content? I hate doing short form content. I absolutely hate it. I don't like it. It takes me to do an 8-minute video. It takes me like 8 hours to film it, because I can't just turn the camera on and talk. It's just a way different mindset. Super different mindset. Super different mindset. Blondie says, keep it all. Did you change your name? You took the EEs out, didn't you? So Pam H says, I think this time frame is really competitive for streaming. I saw a notification from at least 3 other channels I subscribe to for live streams tonight. Sure. What am I going to do? Blondie says, as long as you enjoy it, keep after. I love doing this. It's just that I want to make sure that this is content that people want to watch on my channel. If this is something that you don't want to watch, I don't want to keep doing it and wasting people's time, because if you're not going to come to the lives, then, do I just cut out the lives and just start doing short form content? I love live performing. I hate doing short form content. I feel like I strive best in lives. Jessica says, I would watch your short form content, but love your lives. Yeah, I love the lives. She says, my name change story for another time. Oh boy. Yeah, you'll have to let me in on that one. Terry says, I first got interested in true crime from a missing person case. So intriguing deep dive, and they needed coverage. Same picture though. I love the icon Blondie. Let's see. Hello, thought this started at 9:15. We'll have to rewatch the first part later. Caterbugs over here. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's just, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I just want to make sure that you're all engaged and that this is engaging content for you. But if it's not what you want, then I need to change the format. I need to do something and see something that works. Brian, the LTL name does imply you will be doing lives. Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk live. Absolutely. This is supposed to be a live, live show channel. It's what I want it to be. It's what I want it to be. But I think that the last couple of Sunday nights have been dead. No one comes in on Sunday nights. So I don't know. Like, I'm not saying like I know you're all here. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like I'm not pulling a crowd in on Sundays. So maybe this is just a bad night for my channel. Yeah, I know. I actually going to be doing an update on Wednesday on that. Holy shit, that guy is the biggest fucking narcissist I've ever seen in my entire life. But super narcissist. All right. I've kind of had enough of that interrogation. I'm sure you probably all have too. But let's play the Lori Vallow Speaks in Court. Let's hear what she has to say. Let's play the 9 or 10 minutes of that, and then we'll chat a little bit, and then I'm going to probably end this and take an early night tonight. I might go hop on one of my friends' streams because they're going to be talking TBG stuff. So,
all right, Ms. Vallow, before I impose sentence, if you choose, you may address the court. This is known as the right of allocution,
yeah,
which
super
permits you to
madness,
make a
Blondie.
statement on your own behalf or present
Crazy.
any information in mitigation of the punishment.
Let me get this real quick. Is there any rules that say lives have to be longer? Try 30-minute lives. I don't know. I really don't know anything about YouTube. No, there's no particular length. I mean, you can go, I think, like 12 hours before StreamYard will kick you out. I mean, I've seen people do 6-hour lives. It's crazy. I mean, no one's going to watch a fucking 6-hour show. Hour and a half usually tends to work pretty good. 30-minute lives, that's tough because you're going live, you're introduced, you're letting things kind of ease in. To do a 30-minute live is super hard. Super hard. You would have to cram in so much information. Yeah, she spoke in court. Yeah, I mean, that's why I like the chat. All right, let's listen to Lori Vallow speak in court here. It gets pretty wacky and out there.
For the crimes you've committed. And let me inquire at this time, do you wish to address this court? All right, very well. You may make your statement.
All right, hang on. I just got to address this. All right, so here's the thing about phone-ins and panel. What ends up happening is you have a bunch of people that are going to call in and they're going to do one or two things. One, they're going to agree with you, and that's very likely that they're going to agree with you. Most of the time, people are going to call in. They're going to voice their opinion. They're probably going to start cutting you down, and it's going to start a big fight. And it just doesn't look good for the channel. That's why I haven't really done a lot of the call-ins. And then you get people that just go into like these long spinning narratives that won't, you're like, you got 3 minutes, and they just keep going for 20 minutes. So, Saturdays, I usually do the call-ins. I used to do them. Maybe I start bringing those back on Saturdays. But, that's a problem. You give someone 3 to 5 minutes, they take 20, and then people in the chat get pissed. And they're like, all right, cut them off. So, all right, let's hear Lori speak. I've tried it, Victorine. You know how people are. They go 20 minutes.
I would like to start by quoting John from the New Testament in the Bible. In John chapter 8, verse 7, Jesus says, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her." Then in verse 15, Jesus says, "Ye judge after the flesh, I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true." Jesus knows me, and Jesus understands me. I mourn with all of you who mourn my children and Tammy. Jesus Christ knows the truth of what happened here. Jesus Christ knows that no one was murdered in this case. Accidental deaths happen. Suicides happen. Fatal side effects from medications happen. I have a different perspective in life because in 2002, when I was pregnant with Tylee, I died in the hospital while in labor with her. They tried to stop my labor. They put me on the table and they put something in my IV, and I felt my spirit falling to the floor. I was standing near my pregnant body, watching the doctors try to revive me, which took them a few minutes. In that time, my sister Stacy was standing to my left. I turned to hug her and was surprised that her spirit was as tangible as a physical body, because I knew I was in spirit and she was in spirit. She said she needed to show me some things, and we went to heaven. I later returned to my body. Because of this experience, I have access to heaven and the spirit world. Since then, I have had many communications from people now living in heaven, including my children, Tylee Ashlyn and Joshua Jackson, my sisters, Stacy and Lolly, my aunts and my uncles, and my grandparents. I have had many communications with Jesus Christ, the Savior of this world, and our heavenly parents. I have had many angelic visitors have come and communicated with me and even manifested themselves to me.
Oh boy.
Because of these communications, I know for a fact that my children are happy and busy in the spirit world. Because of my communications with my friend Tammy Daybell, I know that she is also very happy and extremely busy. I have always mourned the loss of my loved ones, and I have lost many in this.
He's writing his notes. Cuckoo, cuckoo. He's writing cuckoo, cuckoo. This chick is whacked.
Mortal world. However, I know them more than most people. I know where they are now and what they're doing. I know how wonderful heaven is, and I'm homesick for it every single day. I know we all lived in heaven before we were born on earth, and we were all adult spirits in the heavenly realm. We chose to come to earth as mortals.
Listen, I just want to do this too. I'm not making fun of anybody that believes in religion. It's fine. It's just a little weird when people take it to this level. If you are a religious person, I'm not making fun of you, do what's best for you in that sense. But, when we hear things like this, it's a little weird.
Heaven is more wonderful than you can possibly imagine. I do not fear death, but I look forward to it. I did not want to return to my body when I was out of it. Even though my son Colby, who I adored more than anything, was only 6 years old at the time, and I was about to give birth to this new baby girl that I wanted so badly. I was a young mother, and you would think I wouldn't want to leave my children, but as I stood in heaven, I did not want to go back. I thought they would be fine without me because I was peaceful and I was happy and I was home. But then I was told by Jesus that I needed to go back and complete things that I had covenanted or promised to do before I was born. This caused me a lot of distress because I knew heaven was my real home, and I only wanted to be there. I was free from pain, emotional and physical. But then I was shown how I would help my children and others in the future. So ultimately, I did agree to go back to my body. Kylie,
I think when people go through these situations, and they commit these terrible atrocities on earth, I think this is like the only thing that they can clutch to in the end to make themselves feel excused and that they're going to be, in the eyes of God, forgiven. And I think this is really what these people clutch on to, because they need that, I guess, sense of hope or sense of erasing all that they've done. And I think that's why they clutch on to stuff like this. And that's why they talk like this.
has visited me. She is happy and very busy. Kylie is free now from
Miss
all
Cleo.
the pains of her life.
Miss
Kylie
Cleo.
suffered horrible physical pain her
Yeah.
whole life.
It's a deflection is
I
what it
sat
is.
with Kylie in the hospital year
Super
after
deflection.
year after year while she screamed in pain when the morphine wasn't even enough to take away the pain of her pancreatitis. I sat there while she cried and I held back her hair while she threw up. And I am the only person
She's a
on this
victim now.
earth who knows how much Kylie suffered in her life. She had pain every single day. She never felt good. Her body did not work right. And I don't know if that was from complications from me dying while she was being born or something else, but she had a very difficult life. She was sexually abused by her own biological
Doesn't look
father
pleased. I was
since
just
she
going to
was
say,
3 years old.
Judge
And she
doesn't
was
look pleased.
forced by family court to go visit him for 10 years against her will. I fought for her in court. I protected her. I tried to protect her with my whole life. I tried to protect her. I worried about her every single day. Kylie had to get her GED because she couldn't go to school every day because she never felt good. She felt sick. Nobody knows this because Kylie, like myself, tries to put on a good front, tries to be a happy person, tries to have hope in life, tries to know that she's here for a purpose and that she has an eternal purpose to be on this earth.
100%.
But I never stopped worrying about her. One of the times that Kylie came to me as a spirit after she died, she commanded me and she said to me, "Stop worrying, Mom. We are fine."
Yeah.
She knows how I
Tsunami.
worry and how I miss her. The first time JJ visited me after he passed away, he put his arm around me and he said to me, "You didn't do anything wrong, Mom. I love you. And I know you loved me every minute of my life." JJ, Joshua Jackson, was an adult spirit. And he was very, very tall when he put his arm around me. He is busy. He is engaged. He has jobs that he does there. And he is happy where he is. His life was short, but JJ's life was meaningful. JJ was a wonderful person and touched the lives of everyone. And I adored him every minute of his life. My eternal friend, Tammy Daybell, has visited me on several occasions. She came to bring me peace and comfort. And I know that she is extremely busy helping her family, especially her children and grandchildren. And I have a great love for Tammy. My beautiful children, Kylie Ashlyn and Joshua Jackson, rest safely this day in the arms of Jesus. My wonderful friend, Tammy Daybell, rests safely this day in the arms of Jesus. And I look forward to the day when we are all reunited and I too will rest with them in the arms of my Jesus.
All right, Ms. Vallow, thank you for your comments to the court. Let me ask you at this time, Ms. Vallow, are you fully satisfied with the representation you've received from your attorneys throughout this case?
Yes.
Thank you. Gain evaluation, substance abuse report, mental health review.
I'm going to
other
skip through
reports.
some of this.
However, you elected not to cooperate with the pre-sentence investigation. As I would note on page 23 of the pre-sentence investigation report, it states, quote, Lori Vallow Daybell intends to remain silent during the pre-sentence investigation process. She has the packet, but does not intend to answer any questions of evaluators or investigators. Quote, no attempts were made to complete the court-ordered screenings due to her refusal.
All right, let me go up here. I think this is the sentencing. Let's see.
Mr. Thomas, Mr. Archibald, and the defendant, would you please rise for the pronouncement of sentence?
All right, let's hear the sentence. It's always
Based on all the relevant circumstances, including the evidence and recommendations presented in court today, it's the judgment of this court. Ms. Vallow, you'll be sentenced as follows. I'll first note I'm going to take up the counts out of order as I want to address the substantive murder sentences first. So on count 2, the charge you were convicted of, the first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan, you are sentenced to the custody of the State Board of Corrections to serve the maximum allowed sentence of fixed determinate term of life imprisonment with no possibility of parole. On count 4, the charge of the first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow, you are sentenced to the custody of the State Board of Corrections to serve the maximum allowed sentence, a fixed determinate life imprisonment sentence with no possibility of parole. I'll next address the 3 conspiracy counts you've been convicted of. And note under Idaho Code 18-1701, the punishment for those crimes is the same as the underlying offenses you combined to commit. One of the offenses you combined to commit was first-degree murder, so those may be punishable also by imprisonment for life. When I look at what the appropriate sentences should be for the conspiracy charges, at first I wondered if they should be as long of a term or serious as the substantive murder charges. However, what I've concluded is that these conspiracy convictions merit the same grave punishment for several reasons. First, the conspiracies in which you engaged in have had far-reaching impacts on many people besides the deceased victims. And with what the court's heard, I am convinced that the conspiracy charges also merit the same serious sentence. So on count 1, the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception, you're sentenced to the custody of the State Board of Corrections to serve the maximum allowed sentence, a fixed determinate term of life imprisonment with no possibility of parole. On count 3, the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception, you're sentenced to the custody of the State Board of Corrections to serve the maximum allowed sentence, a fixed determinate term of life imprisonment with no possibility of parole. And on count 5, the conspiracy to commit the first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell, you're sentenced to the custody of the State Board of Corrections to serve the maximum allowed sentence, a fixed determinate term of life imprisonment with no possibility of parole. Finally, the court will address count 7, which is the charge of grand theft. On that charge, court is going to sentence you to a fixed determinate term of 5 years of prison, followed by an indeterminate term of 5 years of prison for a total 10-year term of imprisonment on the grand theft. Court will next consider whether sentences should be imposed consecutively or concurrently. I generally don't, I'm a pragmatic person, and I've struggled with the point of a consecutive sentence when in Idaho, a life sentence is just that, a life sentence without parole. And I've thought it through. However, when I looked at this case and the more I thought about it, I've determined that because there are 3 separate murders with 3 separate victims that occurred at 3 separate times, then running counts concurrently would not serve the interests of justice, because those crimes all need to be taken into account separately and distinctly and individually. And you need to be held accountable separately for each of the 3 murders. So on those counts, the court will run consecutively the count 2 murder of Tylee Ryan, consecutive to count 4, the murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow, and count 5 will run consecutive to count 2 and 4, the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell. So 3 consecutive life terms of prison. The remaining counts will be concurrent to the counts that are consecutive. The court will impose fines as requested by the state in the amount of $25,000 for all counts except the grand theft. On the grand theft, the fine will be in the amount of $1,000. The court will assess the civil penalty that was requested, and I find it's appropriate under Idaho Code 195307 of $5,000 per victim on each of the 3 victims as a civil penalty. And then finally, the restitution, which was requested by the state. Mr. Wood, if you could reiterate that number, 22,000 of what the restitution term is. And I want to inquire if there's any other restitution being sought by the state.
Your Honor, I believe I said 22,545. And the state would ask for an additional 30 days to submit any further restitution for the victims, living victims who have
Blondie. I
been
appreciate
deemed
it.
as such by this court.
Blondie gave me a $4.99 super chat.
Court
Friendly
will
reminder,
assess
everybody
that
hit that thumbs up.
restitution
The
on the
like
grand
button
theft charge of
is free. It's free. It's free. It's for me.
$22,545 as shown through the
All right,
evidence.
let me address this really quick. Lady Justice says, Brian, can you seriously turn down your beginning music down a little? I don't want to stop watching, but the loudness is so unnecessary. I cannot. I've already addressed that. It's just the way that it comes off of StreamYard. I apologize. The only thing I would say is turn down your volume when you know that I'm going to go live. And after the music, you can turn back up the volume. It's the best thing that I can say. I have no control of the volume as to the intro. The intro is literally like 40 seconds. So just do that, or you can come in a little bit later into the stream when I do the introduction. My introduction is usually about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we usually start getting into the stream. So best I can do. I'm sorry.
It's a trial, and the court will allow 30 days for additional restitution requests, but that will be waived if it's not submitted timely. That'll conclude the court's sentencing on the charges. Mr. Thomas, do you have any questions on the sentence?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Wood, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, that's it. So we get to see and hear Lori Vallow speak in court. So yeah, I just want to do a little recap on that case tonight. Give you a little bit of feedback. I'll be back. Let's see. I'll be back tomorrow night. We're going to cover Long Island serial killer tomorrow night. What I'll do is I'll drop the link in the chat for the reminder. You can go on over and click that link to remind you. I'm going to head out. I'm going to go jump on another stream and hang out a little bit, do something a little bit different tonight. But I appreciate everybody for coming and hanging out. Blondie, thanks for the $5. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow night, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to take Tuesday and Thursday off as of right now, and probably Sundays. And I'm going to start working on some short form content. If you haven't already, please go over and subscribe to my second channel. Let me drop the link to that. You can go over there and subscribe. to my second channel. That's going to be my rewind channel. I'm trying to get that channel monetized and up and running. So let me just drop, let me see, where is my home page? Let's see, it is, here's the link. If you can go over and subscribe, I'm just trying to get to that 500 subscriber mark over there, get my 3,000 watch hours in and get a little monetization on that channel. It would really help, and it would help expand this channel as well too. So yeah, this is short episode tonight. This is episode 49 in the books. Lori Vallow spoke in court. I'm going to head out. I'm going to go jump on another live and hang out for a little bit with some friends. But I hope to see you all back tomorrow night, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. First time over here, please make sure to subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, turn on your bell notifications so every time I go live, you will know. To everybody in the chat this evening, thank you so much. You know how to reach me. You can reach me through Twitter. If you know my Instagram, you can reach me through Instagram, email, however you want to reach out to me. If not, come back and hang out on the lives. Appreciate you all, and I will see you all soon. Peace.
Thank you.